What's up? After this video, you will know how to make a professional hardstyle kick. Making kicks is very hard, but after I learned this trick, it made it so much more easy. Obviously, it takes time. Make a kick every day for 30 minutes and you'll get better and better. Anyways, let's grab Hardstyle Essentials Volume 3 and we're going to get a punch, crunch, and another thing. I can already hear you think like, whoa, this is not a kick from scratch, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know, but what I do know is that you guys don't watch video for 1 hour. So I'm gonna make a short video and then you can take the tip and then a different Anyways, let's take a punch, because hardstyle kicks are made of 3 main things: the punch, the crunch, and the punch reverb. That's a hardstyle kick. So let's grab a punch. This is a nice hardstyle punch. Then we're gonna find a crunch. I like the sound of this one. So then I add a tech transient. I like to enhance it. So when I have my final punch, I add some power to the final punch. Another thing that really goes well under a punch is a punch bass. It's all relative. So that's the feeling you'll develop after making a lot of kicks. You'll know if you need more bass. You'll know if you need more attack. But in general, just work like this. What I now do is grab all my sounds and put them in my mixer. All these 3 go into one channel right here. And we call this the main punch. Then our crunch right here goes into a channel like that as well. And we call this the main crunch. Now you want to nicely separate everything so you can easily digest it. And then the punch main and main crunch go into one channel, and this is called kick send 1. Now with the punch and the crunch, as I said, there's 3 elements: punch, crunch, and punch reverb. So we need punch reverb. Here's your punch reverb channel. Route it into this thing here. Get Valhalla Room, reverb, well, I don't care, just any reverb plugin. Make it 100% wet. Then add OTT. Always add OTT. Get rid of the bass and low mids, so around this range. Get rid of those highs like this, and really make sure you use type low pass. Just don't take an EQ and just drop it down, because it's not muffled, it's just reduced. And now you add a fruity limiter or anything to control the gain. You create an automation clip of the gain knob and you make it open up. Make it look something like this. You don't always have to do this, and this is a feeling you'll develop after making more kicks. Now we have a kind of decent hardstyle punch. Bass is a little bit too much. You don't want it to be too loud, so you get it down a bit. Now we have it combined. So you can open up the reverb channel slightly to get more of a stereo image. You want to make sure that the punch and the crunch blend together, like this. You don't want to put it like that and then leave a little bit of room in here. You can hear it also ducking and opening up. You want it to blend together in a perfect way. But you also don't want the crunch to actually go into the punch. Make sure you're not working with a fruity limiter on the master, so remove that right here. This is the secret sauce. First things first, when you make a kick, just make sure you have a punch, an attack transient, a punch bass, have them go in one channel. Make this go into a 100% punch reverb channel. Then have the crunch into a crunch channel, and everything goes into a main kick channel like this. What you guys will do is the following. If this goes over 0 dB, you will go like fruity limiter, and let's cut it so it doesn't go over 0 dB. First mistake, never do that. Second mistake is using distortion to make your kick kind of better without having this final thing in place that I'm showing you. So, oh, I want distortion. Here's the method that you want to use all the time. Load up aux for the inflator, or load up a soft clipper. Squash the post gain. And I now open up the effect. And I add another soft clipper, because sometimes you don't have enough volume. You're going to be able to distort this kick in a very subtle way. And this is what you want. Let's see how that looks without having this effect enabled and then having it enabled. This is what our kick looks like without the processing. And this is what it looks like with the processing. The more soft clip gain you add, the more it's going to be squashed together. But this is the waveform you're looking for and not this one. And how you achieve this waveform, a full fat hardstyle kick, is by having an inflator, soft clipper, and another soft clipper in case you don't have enough volume, so you add more post gain. That's it. Instead of using a wave shaper like this, and instead of using a limiter, or instead of using a compressor to kind of glue everything together. If you don't have an inflator, as Frank Paul in his videos, I'll link it. It's just a half sign basically. So this, you have an inflator as well. It's kind of similar. Or you get the free patcher preset from Frank Paul, whatever you want. If you now take an EQ before these 3 things, you start changing frequencies, you'll notice that your kick improves. As you can hear, you get a really nice sound in your kick, which you normally wouldn't get per se if you didn't use this setup. I know I want a little bit more in my kick, so do that. I might improve it a bit in the tone here. Add a little bit more highs. And then I might remove the 300 hertz. Like this, because I want to clean it up. But in the crunch, I'll start adding 300 hertz a little bit more. Because you create a ceiling and it tells like, oh, my kick can't go over this ceiling. You can start to introduce stuff before the ceiling, this thing here. And then you actually crank this hardstyle kick. You get the really interesting and professional hardstyle kicks out of this. So the first part was making this setup. Punch, attack, bass, crunch, punch, reverb, and everything goes together in the synth. The second thing is that you have your synth like this with a clipper and an Oxford inflator or a half sine wave shaper. And then the third part is you can start to introduce different crunches. So let's just grab a different crunch. This one. I like the crunch of it. When you want to layer your crunches, normally this doesn't really work well, but because we add the ceiling, it does work well and it will clip together. And that's the fundamental thing. You want to have everything clipped together. So now we have this layer, as you can hear. And now watch what happens when I start playing with the phase. So this is the third trick, adding samples and layers and changing the phase and just blending stuff together. So the waves are exactly the same. You get more if they cancel each other out. You know, one is at +1 and the other is at -1.
2 + 2 is 4.
They'll be 0 together.
-1, that's 3 quick maths.
So if they're out of phase and they cancel each other out, you get different sounds. Now, I want more crunch in my crunch, so I make sure they're out of phase only at the end, like this, because I want the end of the kick to be a little bit more crunchy, which would be nice for climax kicks. So we can add another crunch, maybe this one. And I only want it in the beginning, because I want to enhance the beginning a little bit. So then I add this one here, change it, and then we add this to the final crunch, obviously, because it needs to blend together, and then we play them. As you can hear it, I want to kick something like this. So that was the third part. You're going to layer the crunch and change stuff.
Any questions before I go on from here? Great.
So now if you want to change the character of the crunch, you're going to do the fourth thing. And that is use asymmetrical distortion, or you're going to use EQing. So first thing you can do to change the character of the crunch is make an automation clip of an EQ bell. So first things first, let's make it go up in the mids. So we create the automation clip of the gain, make it go up something like this. So it's like wow, wow, right? So it just opens up a little bit during the middle and goes down at the end. Now we just want it to go from left to the right. We're going to automate this as well. So let's automate it and have it start at this section in here, this mids, and it goes down to the low mids. So how it would look is this, up and down, slide up and down. And now watch what happens in the EQ. That's it, at a different frequency. Let's boost the low mids to mids. And the final thing you can do is add asymmetrical distortion. So open distortion, put this at 10 hertz, or something like that, and just open the symmetry. Depending on your kick, you might need to go -100 and +100. Just make sure it gets crunchy, so you can hear that happening here. It got more crunchy, and you can automate this to go crunchy at the end. So let's automate it, have it start at 33, and then have it open up at the end. So what you can now add on your final kick channel right here is distortion again, if you want to go more euphoric, and then you just add symmetry again on the whole kick. Maybe have the crunch go off, because we have double distortion right now, so as you can hear, it cleans up the kick and makes it more euphoric. Now, you can add one more thing, which is isotope trash or any compressor, and just compress it so that the punch gets a little bit more power. That's it. So dynamics, take it down. As you can hear, make sure that punch goes over it a little bit. And now, open up the soft clipper again, because you've changed the kick, lost some power. Let's add some volume back and make it clip again. And then we can take one more EQ and just boost the bass a little bit more in case we need it. So I loaded in the kick, in Nimble Kick in the project, and let's just play this with a melody from Hardstyle Essentials 3, leads, chords, bass line, and harmonies. You get this template in Hardstyle Essentials 3 as well, by the way. So let's just see how it sounds. As you can hear, it's a perfect kick to pitch in your drops. Few disclaimers. You will need good punches, good crunches, and everything to start with. But what the cool thing about this is, if you understand how to process the final kick, you don't have to worry about other bullshit anymore. If you have final processing that works, you're at least not gonna screw that part up, right? In different videos, we'll explain how to make the other stuff from scratch. Soft clipper, inflator, EQ, asymmetrical distortion, crunch phasing. It's all in this video. If you use this, you will make professional kicks. Guaranteed. Make sure to download this kick template that I just made 100% for free from our freebie page on our website. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Cheers!